that we are starting to stream. So let me just look real quick and see. Yep, we are. All right. Hey guys, how's it going today? Um, so today we'll be looking at the um, tier maker. I've already got everything set up, so we should be good to go as far as that is concerned. And look, I've got all of these anime down here that I have seen before. Okay, so I think that, well, it looks like there's a double right there. But yeah, okay, so I don't really care about the order I'm going in. So, but I've got the S tier right here up the top, and then the A plus, the A, the B plus, B, C, and then anything below a C I consider as garbage. It's not worth watching. So I don't know. I might have left out some anime, but let's just go ahead and start from the top. So JoJo's, this is part one. Um, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's definitely up there as far as decent. It's probably B tier. Okay, so Classroom of the Elite. I had thought that this was going to be really, really one of the top anime that I've seen so far, and it's good. But what I really enjoy is the main character, Ayana Koji, and I like Horikita because she is probably one of the, how do I say? I would say that she is very unlikely. She's not a stereotypical anime character. She's very self-involved, and she really just looks out for herself all the time. And so I think it's deserving of A. Now, could it be A plus? I mean, maybe. Um, that season finale for the second season. I won't spoil anything, but the season finale was just really good. I thought it picked up really quickly by the end. The beginning of the season two was really slow. I couldn't really get into it as far as the storyline that was going on. Uh, but in the end, I thought they picked it up really quickly, and honestly, it was just amazing what they ended up doing with it. So I do think it's A tier. Okay, so yeah, Bunny Girl Senpai. This is actually it's good, and it could be in the realm of A tier, but in my opinion, I think it is very solid, right? So it's it's definitely got a lot of good banter between Mai and that other dude's name. I can't remember the main character. He's really great. I like him as a character. I just can't think of him so funny. I remember that one line that he had where they were studying and she was like, "Well, don't you want to, go to college and be something and make a career?" And then he was like, "Yeah, when I grow up, I want to marry my." And so I thought he was he's not a typical anime character. I like that, and she is a little more. Um, well, she's not a tsundere. She doesn't like hate him for no reason. She has like justifiable concerns a lot of the time, and it's not like she beats him up all the time or whatever. You know, you see in those weird, off-brand anime, or it's more like that she, you know, is an actual person, and he is too. I think he's little too smart and a little bit too um, competent, I would say, to be realistic. But I think he does do a good job. The author does a good job of creating these two characters, and really the main thing is just the interaction between those two. So yeah, I think you could put it in A tier. Right now, I'm thinking B plus, like the highest of B plus. You know, I really want to put it up further, but the next one. Okay, so this is a personal preference. This is season one sucked. Okay, it wasn't great. It was a good season comparatively to season two, but yeah, it's amazing. Rent a Girlfriend, definitely up there, A tier, no question. For me, now I understand a lot of people don't like it, and that's fine. I don't really care. I don't knock them for not liking it. I don't think they gave it a chance. I think that they discounted it before season two, way before season two. And that's understandable because it took a while for season two to come back. But I just man, I just absolutely love this anime. Everyone, anyone that has seen my channel, they know. Yes, that's my favorite sort of romance anime. Now, Bunny Girl Senpai is definitely up there. I just think that the plot of Bunny Girl Senpai is not as interesting because Rent a Girlfriend, there's so many different ways um, to look at it because you've got multiple girls that interact with Kazuya on a daily basis to where there's just a lot more tension and a lot more plot to sort of flesh out than Bunny Girl Senpai because Bunny Girl Senpai has these things where it's like these little tiny arcs to deal with those girls, and in my opinion, I don't really like the whole puberty syndrome thing. Um, it's it's just not that interesting of a concept to me. I don't mind it. It's a little fantastical, fantasy thing, um, which it's okay. Like I'm not saying it's bad. Anyways, okay, Kakaguri. Um, yeah, I know that it's not a very tame anime, I will say, but I do like it, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. Okay, so Neon Genesis Evangelion. Everyone knows I have great love for this anime, and so yeah, I'm gonna put it in the A plus tier. Um, the only reason why I wouldn't say S tier for me is probably because I think that there are a couple anime that deserve S. That's like my favorite anime of all time that is top tier. I would recommend to everyone. Um, Objectively, you could say it's top, 25 of all time. I think IGN had said that they mentioned that, put that on the list, and that's fine. Um, so Call of the Night, I was surprised. Uh, I really enjoyed it for the first few episodes, and towards the end, I was really liking where it was going. But that finale was trash. I'm not gonna lie. No spoilers, because it just came out this past week. Just bottom A tier. I would have thrown it up to like A plus tier, but it's bottom A tier right now. Um, yeah, I do think that they could have done a lot better, and there were some really good moments in this season too, like season as well, because they they just were really good at creating the atmosphere of the city and how it looked, and the animation was beautiful, and I just appreciated really the whole thing. I thought the characters were interesting enough to where I didn't have to question them, right? Sometimes you'll see these characters pop up in anime where, you know, what's really their purpose? Are they really that compelling of a character? There's no reason to have that person in it. I thought that these characters were very purposeful. You've got, you know, Yamori's Soko, his like sort of best friend, best guy friend or whatever. He's important to the series. And then his like old friend that is a girl that he never knew uh, was his friend. They're pretty important to the structure of the show. I think that's good. And then you get the other vampires. They're very necessary. They create a sense of more in depth world building, I would say. One Punch Man. So, I really enjoyed season one. Season two was good. It wasn't as good as season one. Um, but yeah, I would love to put it in A tier, but it's just not that good. It's a parody show. And technically, okay, so I've seen the arguments that, yeah, look, it's not a parody show, and I think I've seen some other YouTubers go into depth about, well, this show is never said it's it is a parody for sure, um, and there's proper scaling and all that, and I don't really care too much. I think Saitama is funny, so I'm not saying, well, can One Punch Man beat Goku or whatever. Well, I don't think that. First of all, I don't think that you know One Punch Man should be taken that seriously. Um, but I think it's more of a funny thing. I think there is some seriousness to it. You'll see as the anime goes on. So I do enjoy it. It was funny, but I really thought that the villains and the fight scenes, they were really good. Classic shonen anime style fights, even though I believe it started out as a web comic. It's not shonen technically. Okay, so Samurai Champloo, it was really good. Like, I didn't like the beginning, honestly. It was good. It was decent. I thought it was just going to be another sort of, um, how do I say, well, I just thought it wouldn't be totally like, you know, on that level of Neon Genesis Evangelion, on that level of, um, how do I say, uh, Cowboy Bebop. But I did like it. I think the ending really significantly changed my view on the show. So there were some episodic adventures that they went through. So the same dude that did Cowboy Bebop did Samurai Champloo. So that's that the art style is similar, and the the sort of blending of, because he's got this blending of hip hop with sort of the old you know vintage samurai uh, style of fighting and things like that. And it's a pretty gritty show. It shows a lot of deep, um, sometimes graphic, blood and stuff like that. And that's to each his own. I thought it was good, so I'll put it in A tier because I thought the ending was really good. Now I know that. Okay, so I know that a lot of people like My Dress Up Darling, right? I know that it sort of took over the internet, the meme culture for a little while, but in my opinion, I didn't like it. I didn't finish it. Now, I got all the way to episode 8 or 9. I can't remember which one, but it was just not good. I'm sorry, like there was nothing there. All he does is just make the outfits for her. That's not a lot to go off of. I I thought I was gonna like it because of um, the sentimental message. The main character, the dude, he has an actual passion for making and creating things, and he's a kind of artist. Um, uh, so I did like that. And Marin, she's fine enough. I think she's funny. Um, she's not that great of a character. She's a little well, she's a little underwhelming for all of the hype. So I'm not gonna get too deep into that because I just didn't really like it. I might get flamed on that one, but okay. So Psychopaths. Now I know that this was, you know, really great. I know that, in my opinion, it might be a little bit too graphic for some people. And I think I touched on that in one of my videos. But yeah, I really think that this was a great anime. In my opinion, it is one of the S tier. Just because, and this is just the first season. Now, I've seen a little bit of the second season, but I did not see all of it because it was trash. And basically, they wrapped up everything in the first season. So why would I go on to the second season when, you know, the only thing would be to see more of like the structure of the society and things like that and how it copes with um, the endings of this. But if you have not seen this anime, you gotta see it. It's really good. If you're okay with a little bit of you know um, a little bit of graphic content, just because you know I know some people that don't like that stuff, and that's fine. Um, I'm okay with it. You see a lot of shows that are a little bit violent, but I think that Psychopaths has good commentary, on society as a whole, because it really goes into depth of how to mitigate crime, and if you could have some sort of technology that would allow you to sense if someone is going to commit a crime, would you use it? I don't, in my opinion, no. I think that's discounting the whole justice system of, hey, look, you're innocent until proven guilty. Just because you have a high psychopath in the anime, you literally get locked up for that. And I think that is terrible. I mean, so I don't like it. I don't like the society. I don't like how it works. But I love the show because it does deal with that stuff. And there are some conflicting opinions in the show as well. And that's good. Okay, so yeah, my my love story. So I believe this is a Chinese anime. I don't think it is Japanese. And it's really interesting because I like the characters in the show, and I think the main character is funny. But it was the same thing over and over again. I mean, the first couple of episodes there was like some movement, and there was actual romantic affair going on. relationship. But then after that, it just got stale really fast, like really fast. I only got like 10 episodes, 11 episodes in or something, and it was just falling off. So you know, in my opinion, as a whole, I think My Dress Up Darling's a little bit better. I don't really care. It's all garbage to me, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that this show, Fairy Tale, is going to upset a lot of people. Just because, well, Fairy Tale, it's not okay. It's not a typical shonen anime where, um, well, hold on, not that I mean that. It is a typical shonen anime, but it's not so much about like one character. I did watch a couple of like analysis videos of this show, and I agree that um, someone was saying that the whole part of Fairy Tale is that it's not about one person's journey. It's about this guild as a group, and it's actually good. Like I like it. I enjoyed it. Now I was like what 16, 17 when I was watching the show. So 5 years ago, I don't really know um, if that's probably the best way to judge it, but I really liked it. You know, so I'm putting it in B plus because I don't really think that um, I don't think that it is as bad as people say it is. Now, if you don't really like shonen anime, you're gonna hate this show. But I really did enjoy it. Season two is really good. Okay, like really good. Not season two, but like part two. You know what I mean? 2014. Um, 2014 was when they redid the animation for the show. They, started to change up what they were doing as far as, um, you know, structure. It wasn't as funny and lighthearted. It still had some of that stuff too, but it was really kind of getting into some deep stuff. Um, and yeah, I mean, I, I love Fairy Tale. Now, could I go back and watch it again? Probably not. It's not very rewatchable. But yeah, let's just keep moving. So Konasuba. Now, okay, I don't actually really like Konasuba. Okay, so I think that a lot of people think it's hilarious and it's funny. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not funny at all. But I just can't stand when people or when a show just doesn't do anything, right? Like, they move up in the world sometimes, but it's like, oh, you got $2 million, but you're going to spend 90% of that money repaying us back. It's like, oh, okay, well, we got some money. It's like, yeah, well, after lodging and food, you don't have any money left over. It's like, great, so you're back where you started. There's no progression in this show, and so I don't. I mean, they do defeat like some of the kings or not kings, but like generals of that dude's army. But it's like it's a parody anime. So are they ever gonna fight that king of the realm? I don't know. I mean, it was funny, so I want to put it in B. But honestly, it's just top C tier. It's really, it's really not that good. You know, the second season was terrible in my opinion. Not terrible in the fact of like, oh, it's not watchable. It's just that it just annoyed me because I thought it was a lot supposed to be a lot funnier. Um, so I think that that's probably what I'm gonna do. Put it in C, but it doesn't really matter to me. I just didn't enjoy it. Okay, now now maybe y'all saw my spoiler video for Lycra's Recoil, but yeah, I mean, what can I say? It wasn't as good as I expected it. I thought it was gonna be really good. I liked it at first. I thought it was very different. I hadn't seen anything like it before, but I think they were doing some stuff that was different. Now, turns out, uh, it didn't exactly execute on what they potentially offered us. Now, is that a bad thing? No, maybe not. If you like the way it ends, that's fine. It doesn't really bother me. But if I really had a say in it, I would have taken the show in a much different direction. And I won't. I don't want to spoil too much of these shows because I want. I would like for everyone to see. You know, anything B plus and up is definitely worth watching. So at the end, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But like I said, I don't want to give too much away. I just think that Lycoris Recoil could have done a lot better. Now, maybe in season two they do something different, and that's fine. Maybe it picks up. I just think that it had so many good moments that kind of misshaped my view on it. I thought it was better than it actually was, and turns out no, it's not that good. But it's still watchable. It's still 13 episodes of Lycoris Recoil. In the end, depending on what you want to watch. Now, if you want to watch a romance anime, you might say, okay, Bunny Girl Senpai, easy. But if you do want to watch something that has even a little bit of action in it, Lycoris Recoil. But in my opinion, let me switch that because I think that Lycoris Recoil does a lot of stuff that Fairy Tail doesn't. You know, it's just more streamlined, which I appreciate. And it's hard to like rank these 13 episode seasons of these new shows that we don't really know a lot about versus like a classic like Fairy Tale. So that's hard. I don't like to do that. And like I said, this is a rough estimate of where things to go. You might swap a couple or something in within the tier, going from best to worst. But yeah, I think that, like I said, all of these B plus and up are definitely worth watching. B, you can give it a try. Now C, I would try to steer you clear, and anything in the garbage, don't even consider it. Don't look again. Now it just depends on if you like the genre. If you like the genre, maybe. Okay, so yeah, Hunter x Hunter. This is such a good show. It has such a rich, world. It is probably like one of the best shonen animes out there. I didn't really care for the Chimera Ant arc. I thought it was a little bit drawn out, and I just didn't like where the show was going with that. The whole Meruem thing. I think he's a cool character. I think he's very interesting and very, you know, kind of rational. He's not a very irrational character, which is good. Even though he's an ant. But yeah, I think that arc was really different. I mean, I appreciate what they did in it, towards the end, adult Gon, that was something incredible. I was never even thinking about that. I didn't even think that could be possible, really, for someone to use up all their nin in order to, get past a certain point and break all their limits and get to their ultimate power. But then they kind of retcon that with the chairman arc, and I don't want to get too much into that. But yeah, so Dragon Ball Z. Now, I'm talking about the Kai version, honestly. I mean, the Dragon Ball Z is fine. I have no problem with that, you know. Um, but I think that, uh, you know, probably one of the most influential anime of all time. Like you just can't. It has to be on your watch list somewhere. And I like the Kai version because it's dubbed, redubbed and all that stuff, and they edit out a bunch of stuff, and they cut a lot of filler episodes, pretty much all the filler, and they streamline it, and it's amazing. So some people like the original, and that's fine. I don't care too much. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is where it all started, for most fans. Now, for me, Naruto sort of started off my journey, but yeah, I mean, if you want to, now personally, I think it's the best of B plus tier. It's not as good as Hunter x Hunter, in my opinion, like the 2011 version, because I mean, you've got you know you've got the whole Boo saga, and you know I've seen a lot of justification for the Boo saga, and while I appreciate it and I think that it's true that um what was his name? Oh man, Toriyama. Yeah, Akira Toriyama. He definitely planned it out. As far as you know, it's not that he wanted to make Gohan the main character. Apparently, that was never the intention to make Gohan the main character. Uh, I've heard some people say that, oh yeah, it was. Well, I think that's unverified. But yeah, I think that Dragon Ball Z Kai is probably the the best version, because the Saiyan arc, where they come to Earth, the Frieza arc, the Cell arc, the Android and Cell arc. I think that's top tier shonen right there. If you had that, you could probably throw it in the high A category. But in my opinion, it's just not as good as Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, and that might you could throw it in the A, uh, but that Boo thing, it's just so drawn out. I just didn't really like it. You know. Okay, so One Piece. I've only started watching One Piece, so it's really not going to be in depth at all. In my opinion, it's watchable, definitely. I'm up to about episode 50 or something, and I really like the crew. The crew is the best part of the show. Assembling them is very interesting. Getting to know them, uh, and their backstory. I think that the Oda, I can't remember the rest of his name, but the creator of that series, he is he's good at storytelling. Like he knows how to construct a backstory, an arc, what's going on to get to build that world, and he's done that for so long. He's done that for 1,000 episodes now, a little more than that. But I really just love the movies. I've been watching some of the movies lately, a little bit out of order, yeah, but they do some really good stuff because there's a lot of action, which I enjoy. And the show is good too. I just think that it's gonna be a journey to watch all of it. Um, it's not so much as that I'm afraid to watch it. I just don't want to waste my time to be, watching a show that's basically like fairy tale, but in my opinion, doesn't have cool powers. I think there are some cool powers in One Piece, and I love Zoro. He's probably my favorite character just because he's so cool. Like, everything that he does, very cool. But yeah, I, I'm liking One Piece so far. I think it's okay, but yeah, we'll just have to see. Um, so Jujutsu Kaisen, now it is actually like A tier, and that's because this is sort of a predictive list a little bit too, because I think that it's about to be like probably A plus tier. It could shoot up to like S tier of all time, just on the way that the story progresses, like which that villain. Oh man, I can't even remember his name. But the main villain dude that's like he's a human, but a bad sorcerer. Um, I think that the conflict with him could be uh, insane. Like, and I think Gojo's powers could could possibly um, they could possibly go on to be something like like we've never seen before. And I'm looking forward to that. So that's a little predictive. I'm jumping the gun a little bit because I don't think that the season one was completely A tier. I think there's a little bit of B plus tier material, and I think that it's going to jump. So I'm sort of predicting. So don't give that one too much thought. All right, Love and Lies. Yeah, I didn't even finish this. This was garbage. Um, it's like this romance show where this dude down here at the bottom gets matched with this girl to be eventual husband and wife, and that's by the government. It's hard to break that contract, but he really likes this other girl. It's, I mean, I dropped it, so I don't even know really what happens in the end, but um, it was just not worth watching. I'll say that. Okay, so The Great Pretender. Now, this was, you know, better than I thought it would be, um, but it was just not very great. Like, it's watchable. I don't think that the girls, I think her name's Abby in that show. I don't think her character arc is very compelling. It's got some kind of background, but it's not a great background. I think that show's probably um, worth watching. It's on Netflix. It was definitely interesting. The heist anime genre or whatever. I haven't seen anything like it before, so I enjoyed watching it, but I think it was a little underwhelming, I'll say. Okay, so Death Note, yeah, this, I mean, you gotta put this in the A plus tier, just because it's one of the most popular manga of all time, probably. As far as I'm pretty sure that's like something. Um, it, just L and Light Yagami are probably the smartest characters in anime or something. I mean, these two were. L literally figured out he was in the Kanto region in Japan within the like first episode, I think, or something, like first episode or two. I mean, that was insane. Just like, and Light was like, what? How did you know that? And then L's like, yeah, I already know where you live, basically. And I mean, that's incredible just from all the stuff, that he had said, right? Um, and done previously. And so, like, I don't really like exactly what happened in the middle if you haven't seen it, but I do think the end is pretty justified, you know. So that's all I'll say on that. I don't want to. It's only like, I don't know, something like 40 episodes, I think. 40 something episodes. It's pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. It was one of the anime that I watched early on. I will say that. Now, High Rise Invasion. This was thinking of how bad it was. Was it? um, See, the first couple of episodes weren't bad. So like it had some like substance to go on, but then it just fell off real fast, and I think I got halfway through the season, and I was just not impressed at all. Honestly, kind of stupid. Not gonna lie. Okay, so Lupin the Third. This is going to be part 4. So this is the Italian adventure. Now for Lupin, you know me. I'm a big Lupin fan. So I would throw it into a pretty high category. I mean, what do I think is fair? I don't know. I think it's fair to throw it up towards B plus, but at the same time, like I want to put it in A because I think that's probably where I would say to rank it, but it's B plus. Like it's got some stuff that's like not great. The Italian adventure. Is it now? My question is it better than like part 5? I think that part 5 has a lot of good like moments that outshadow the Italian adventure, but the Italian adventure has probably a better plot. Okay, so maybe I can find part 5 down here somewhere. Part 5, part 5, part 5. So there's part 6. Okay, I just saw it. Okay, part 5. Yeah. I think I want to put part 5 like behind it. I mean, this stuff is watchable right here. This stuff is like I would recommend. Um, and yeah, I would recommend part 5. It's good. Like there's a lot of like technology and stuff implemented in the show, and that's pretty cool. And it's like, how does Lupin deal with the advancement of technology since he's been thieving for so many years now, and the show has to grow. That part 5 was basically a meta critique of the genre itself, not the genre, but the show itself. Because like that clip I put in my Lupin video, he said, "Hey, look, I'm just gonna keep on being Lupin the Third until I can't anymore, until people get tired of me. If there's still a market for the show, then they're gonna do it." And I like that. There's some episodes I don't really care for, but there's some really good stuff in 4, 5, 6. I'm not gonna lie, it keeps it going. Um, and part 6, yeah, throw that up there. In my opinion, it's better than part 5 right now. I think the storyline is so much better. But they just had some. They had one really cool in part 6, and I was wrong. Okay, I said in my watch list I was about to drop it, and I was. But as soon as it hit episode 13, boom, it got going. Like it was fast. It started to throw in some good stuff. Now, I mean, if you want to say that this one has better serialized events, uh, not serialized, episodic, yeah, episodic events, yeah, go for it. I mean, part 5 is good, But part six, the actual storyline behind the entire season, it's better. I'm sorry, it is just the fact that they implement Sherlock Holmes and then towards the end they get Tomoe. So and I don't want to spoil too much, but Tomoe is Lupin's teacher, and even when he was a little young boy, he was taught by Tomoe, and I think that whole you know her being the thread that runs through all these 20 something episodes, 26 episodes, I think that's a lot more compelling than part five's meta analysis, which I liked it, but I don't think it was as good as part six in my opinion. I think the part four was better than those two. My Hero Academia. Okay, so y'all are gonna hate me, but it's A plus tier. My only reason why is because I just enjoyed it so much that I think that it's probably one of the most hyped shows out there, right? Like, there's just so many people hyping it up that there's a reason why they do that, right? Like in season one, it was good. It had that cool fight at the end with Nomu and All Might, and then season two was good. The tournament arc was good. Season three, um, you know, I liked the direction it went, and the introduction of All for One, uh, and then season four. Hey, look, I know everyone said, "Oh, season four sucked. It was the worst one." They're capping, okay? They are not telling the truth because season four was one of the best seasons of that show. Why? Because of Lemillion. Lemillion was incredible, okay? He was a perfect addition to the show, and he is up there as one of my favorite characters in that show, just because of what he did and what he did in attempting to save I believe her name is Ari, the kid in that show. Um, it was incredible. It inspired me so much more than you know like the first second season. The fourth season was really good. Yeah, just a good show. Now season five. I mean, I liked it. I know objectively it's probably not great because it was just a huge setup, but there's a lot of cool stuff in season five. That's just my opinion. I know it wasn't like action filled per se, but I thought it was good. I thought it was really cool. Tokyo Revengers, yeah, this show sucks. Like, don't attempt to watch it. Um, it's just not that good. Nothing happens. Like, and yeah, it's more like realistic, except for the whole time traveling thing. Um, but it's like got like a realistic sort of view of the world, and it's basically just a Tokyo Manjo game or Manji game or something, like the gang where the main character like has to be a part of basically, and it's okay. It's just not very watchable, honestly. Like more so than these other shows. Yeah, I mean, it's watchable in My Dress Up Darling. You could like get into it, but me, I just thought it was bad. Like I'm not gonna sit there and watch the rest of that. So Scissor Seven, I know that you guys probably gonna hate me for this, but it's A tier in my opinion. And you saw that my video did pretty well on that one. It's because the show's great. Like it's fantastic. It's hilarious. I gave it a breakdown, and its humor is so much different than all these other shows. It's uh, just a unique show that's not really replicated, and I don't think it's um, fair to say so. Now, Demon Slayer, I'm gonna put that in A plus tier. Now, we've only got two seasons and a movie from this as compared to uh, My Hero. I like that My Hero has so many seasons and things because it's like it's a lot of content, and that's probably why I would say it's better than Demon Slayer. But the only reason why is because in Demon Slayer, it's 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 not, how do I say, just not like as good as My Hero at My Hero's peak. In my opinion, now that could change. I think once we get a little bit deeper into the story, I'm probably gonna throw it like in the S tier, in my opinion. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it there. Girlfriend, this show was trash. Like it was the absolute worst. Um, this guy tries to date like multiple girls, and I just couldn't like watch that. It was terrible. It was stupid. Um, this show is so funny. The Way of the House Husband. It's um, it's more watchable than these because it's like a parody, like a comedy gag manga thing. So it's just something that is hilarious, honestly. And I'm not really sure why, you know, it's. I'm not really sure why it's not like I didn't hear about it really, and I'm sure it's one of those gag things, but it's actually super funny. So give it a watch. The only reason why I don't put it up there is I don't like gag stuff. Like I don't like that stuff because it by definition can't be high quality, right? Because it's silly, you know. Okay, Dragon Ball Super, that's watchable. So it's kind of funny. Dragon Ball Super is definitely more watchable than One Piece for me because I know it better. So maybe One Piece like might jump it someday, but I just think for right now, like forget you know I really enjoy the little bit of the tournaments that they do early on, and then eventually they get to you know in I'm counting the Resurrection F and the Battle of the Gods movie in that. So if you say, well, those are trash in the anime, yeah, that's true. The fights in the anime are trash, but I think the Tournament of Power is probably one of the greatest, most fun and watchable and enjoyable shonen things in the past 5 years. Um, so yeah, that's why I would put it up there. Fire Force, yeah, this is garbage. Is it worse than like High Rise Invasion? Uh, yeah, the plot's pretty bad. It's not worse than My Love Story, that's for sure. Um, it's just a bunch of fan service, which I don't like, and the story is not engaging at all, and the main character is um, annoying. So just misses all the marks, really. Um, Now, Kaguya-sama, like I said in my video, I mean, it's top tier. It's pretty good. It's like I think that you could make an argument for, hey, look, this is one of the best anime for like romance of all time. I don't know how far you would get with that because in my opinion, it's the best one that I've seen. So I can't really speak about, you know, everything that goes on, but yeah, I just thought the season 3, the ultra romantic season 3 was probably the best anime I've seen for like romance as far as like a season goes. Definitely for romance, it's the best one I've seen. But it was incredible. They did a bunch of funny stuff where, but they had a purpose, right? Like I said in my video, that season was to set up a confession. That's literally what the season was for. The Hoshin Festival. And just great characters, great writing, very funny. I understand why people love it. So Devil's a part timer. This is hard because like season two really sucks. So I don't know if I'm counting this, but and I was wrong about season two. I was really wrong. So I'm just gonna put it in here. Like I would probably watch The Great Pretender over that. It's debatable. And JoJo's as a show is better. But it's just hard. Like I want to put it up to like high B, but probably not. Honestly. Um. So God of High School. It's just a show with a bunch of fights. It's actually worse than Konasuba. I'd much rather watch like Konasuba and laugh than watch God of High School and its terrible plot, terrible power system. It's just terrible. Yeah, Sword Art Online. See, I would put it up in like B tier to make it watchable, but that second half of the first season where they started a new game, that was awful. So I didn't. I like the main characters. I think they're good. Uh, you know, I like a little bit of what the show is about. The fantasy realm. That's pretty cool. Because I hadn't seen that before when I first watched it, but just, I just don't think it's all that good. Not gonna lie. So I think that something like Psyche K, definitely watchable, but not as funny as The House Husband. The Way of the House Husband. I, you know, it's pretty funny, but it's just watchable. Now, Bungo Stray Dogs, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's definitely not great. Like I watched the first 2.5 seasons. The second season was just trash, and the third season I couldn't even finish it. The first season was really good because it set up everything, but like I thought there was going to be some real consequences, but there wasn't. And the main character, I don't particularly like. I like Dazai; he's interesting, and I like the whole, you know, agency versus like detective agency versus like the crime syndicate ordeal. But I think that it's a little underwhelming. Like it doesn't really bear much weight on like is it have anything to say, anything cool to say? I don't think so. Um, Now Odd Taxi, I mean you got to throw this thing up all the way to the top. Like, is it better than something like Demon Slayer? No, it's just not as impressive. But it's like if you want a show that's not, you'll see up here. Like if you want a show that's not like action oriented, you know, um, then it's the best one. Like I said, action. There's some mecha action in there, so like that's debatable. Uh, Maybe Death Note, you could say. I mean, it still has action, but yeah, that and like these two have action, but like those are like sort of mystery type things, So it's probably second best out of those, and like action, and like romance. So like you know, these are different genres. These two right here, but like Odd Taxi's amazing. It's like the best show out of the rest of these. Like look at it's better than all these shows, and that's saying something. You know. Mob Psycho. Okay, so Mob Psycho is funny and it's good. It's just not top tier. Uh, the third season looks wild, and so I'm excited to see that. And I'm pretty sure that it's gonna start picking up really quickly. But in my opinion, it's just kind of a funny thing. That his boss or whatever, he's so funny. Like he is just incredibly funny. Like way over the top hilarious. Like too much. I mean, he's a fake psychic. Like that's hilarious. and then Mob actually has the real power. You know, um, Doctor Stone. See, I really like this show. Uh, and I did binge watch it, but season two kind of gets a little down in the dumps. It's kind of weird. Like they spend all that time like working with those people on the island, and I don't really care for much of the characters. It's got one of the worst tournament arcs ever, but it's funny and it's good. Like it's watchable. Cells at work. Yeah, it's just not that great. Like I would put it in the watchable category, but it's like not better than Konasuba and it's not better than Bungo Stray Dogs. It's just like this medical show that like they're all cells and it explains stuff to you, which is pretty cool. It's not bad. It's interesting for sure. Um, Assassination Classroom is kind of garbage. Yeah, it's better than High Rise Invasion. Uh, or is it? I don't know. There are two seasons of trash. It's definitely better than Fire Force. I will say. Dragon Ball. Um, yeah, it's not good at all. Sorry. Dragon Ball is just. I watched like 70 episodes of that. Now I haven't seen all of it, so it might be better. But that's I've only seen 70 episodes. Okay, so I don't really know. Now Code Geass was really good. But I didn't really think it was like that great. You know what I mean? Like it was good. I don't think it was legendary as a lot of people say it is. Right? Like it wasn't the best of all time. You know, in my opinion. But it was good. It was definitely good. Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, I mean you gotta know this is the best anime of all time possibly. Uh, Pretty easy to tell. Like I said in my video, great show, great music, great uh, everything, great storytelling. Spike Spiegel's probably one of the coolest anime characters of all time. He's up there with Kakashi. It's it's a classic. It's legendary. There's not much to say about it, honestly. See, now everyone's gonna get mad at me because like I've been dogging like these some shows that people love, but Spy Family's like honestly A plus tier because I mean I absolutely love that family so much. Like you just can't hate on them because of how amazing they are. Like Lloyd being the most competent man of all time and hardworking too, and like in the show he gets to saying, "Oh, well, I'm actually tired of doing all this stuff and saving the world," and it's very realistic in that realm. You're having superpowers, basically super strength. That's hilarious. I really enjoy that, and just them like marrying in the first episode. Basically, that was just the coolest thing ever. I thought that was hilarious. Um, and I really like their, how do I say, you know, them being loving to each other. I really appreciate it. And Anya, she's hilarious and she's cute. Starlight Anya is amazing, and we're picking it up in part two right now. Uh, don't want to spoil anything, but it was a really good episode. They are, like I said, Spy Family. Right now, it's an A plus only because we don't know what's going on. Like, will it drop down to like bottom A plus? Will it be top A? Possibly, but could it approach and become S tier. Yeah, easily. I think it could easily just slip into the S tier of like one of the most, different, funny, like, see, it's not that it's not serious because it has some serious parts, but also it's just so like lighthearted. It's got that tone that it just keeps throwing at you. And I'm not really sure that that's what I want it to be, but that's what it is. So you have to like take it as it is. I thought it would be a little bit more serious with Lloyd and your, but it's just not. It's like a comedy show, which is fine. It is what it is definitionally. So I'm not you know I'm not too I'm not too crazy. Like I'm not going to say, oh well, it doesn't have enough action or it doesn't do what I want it to do. It's like, well, that's the whole point. It's like it's its own thing. So it's not going to do what I want it to do. And it's amazing. So it's definitely top tier. Could slip into S tier eventually. Naruto Shippuden. You think I'm going to put it in the A? No, it's going up in the S. Um, it's my favorite show of all time, hands down, just because it's incredible. I've gone over this, but these are my three recommendations, my top favorite anime of all time. It's better than Cowboy Bebop just because of you know, the whole aura of it, like the entire like premise of him becoming Hokage and him actually accomplishing his goal, of this saga of him being 12 years old all the way till he, you know, I think he turns 16 towards the end, and then he turns 19 in the last, and then he is like, uh, I don't know, 30 when he becomes Hokage, maybe? I can't remember. Anyways, but what is there to say besides it's legendary, you know? And I've gone all over that. Okay, so this the Maid show. Yeah, that was garbage. I mean, it was a little bit better than My Love Story, but not by much. Like I saw a couple of episodes. Um, so I don't know why I doubled it, but I did. So I just put it right there. Miss Nagatoro, it was good. Like it was funny. It's definitely watchable. It's probably funnier than this. Like it's not better than like Dragon Ball Super, but and like Dragon Ball Super as a whole, I'm talking about. Not as good as like Doctor Stone, but it's a good show. It's definitely watchable. It's a little fan servicey, which I don't really care for, but it's a funny thing. Okay, so a Akame ga Kill, it was really good. Like it was, in my opinion, A tier. Just because of all like the different characters and things and their backstory and what happened. It was just one season and a lot happened in one season. Animation, looking back on it, it sucked. And so that might be a little bit of nostalgia, personal preference, me throwing it up there in A. But. So Overlord kind of like meshes out. And I'm thinking about doing a video on Overlord, but I think that it's watchable. So like it's probably in there somewhere. Because Overlord is great. Like it has so many things of, hey, look, there's this realm of Einzel Gone who gets transported to this new realm where he is trying to find like a player. And he's just so OP, overpowered that doesn't really matter, what he comes up against. But it's very interesting and strategic show and well thought out. Naruto, it's good. And you might like say, oh well, it's part of Shippuden, and that's fine. Uh, but part one of Naruto is like, I don't know, it's like better than a comic a kill. It's not really better than like Jujutsu Kaisen and Hunter x Hunter as a whole. Uh, maybe it is. Well, it's better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Uh, Probably not as good as these shows right here. Those are kind of my personal favorites. Hellsing was lame. It was not as good as I thought it was going to be, but it's like better than all of those crappy shows. Um, Now, the only reason why I don't put it in the watchable is because I didn't watch the Ultimate one, so I heard that was like they redid everything and made it like really cool looking. I watched the original one, and that one was like weird and like a little bit drawn out. Interesting idea, interesting concept. So yeah, I mean, Seven Deadly Sins is definitely watchable. If you're talking about the first two seasons, up until we meet Escanor and up until, Meliodas fights the Ten Commandments, that point, that could be like B plus. But is it better than Overlord per se? Probably not. Stick it right there. It's straight mid. Kill la Kill. This was a good show. Not fantastic, but it's probably like. Do I want to put it in here somewhere? Yeah, I mean it's funny and it's interesting. It's a cool concept. I don't think I'm missing anything. I mean, there are some like shows that I haven't completely finished or something that I might put in there, but other than that, yeah. So Naruto, Cowboy Bebop, Psycho-Pass, Spy Family, Evangelion, Death Note, My Hero, Demon Slayer, Kaguya-sama, Odd Taxi. Those are the upper echelon of anime, in my opinion. You've got some high intensity action. You've got a comedy slash romance. You got a comedy slash drama up there. A little bit of action. Probably the best story ever told right here in Cowboy Bebop. Psycho-Pass, just amazing of what all that goes on in there. Naruto Shippuden, probably the best like epic saga in my opinion. People say Dragon Ball, Bleach, whatever. I don't care. They're not my shows. Um, Neon Genesis Evangelion, you know, a legend. It's a legendary anime. Odd Taxi, really, really, really good. And then Scissor 7, I like it. It's one of my personal favorites. It's okay if y'all don't. And then Classroom of the Elite, fantastic. Rent a Girlfriend, personal preference. These shows, personal preferences. Samurai Champloo, you could throw up in like A plus maybe. In my opinion, I don't think it's deserving enough because of the episodic adventures were not as good as Cowboy Bebop, but they're still pretty good. Not bad. Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, Akame ga Kill. Yeah, all these other shows. The reason why I put Lupin in B plus is because like it's good. It's you know, it's good. It's definitely good. These are like watchable shows. These are like hit or miss. I wouldn't recommend them, but if you like them, then I think that's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Here in A, that's where it's like, okay, now I'm starting to B plus. I'm gonna recommend if you've seen like some good anime before and like you're looking to venture out. Now A plus, A right here. It's mainly a lot of shonen esque anime. Uh, in here. Um, that's why I put them in here. And then A plus is like, a legend right there. Um, a new classic, a new legendary sort of vibrant, you know, groundbreaking. Yeah, that's the word. A groundbreaking show. Um, Legendary classic anime. Some, like I said, high intensity action. A little one off genre type thing show. It was good. And then like I said, in these B, it's watchable. You can flip it on and turn your mind off for just a second and just like okay, you appreciate these shows. Um, yeah, I don't think that I really want to move a lot of stuff around because I thought I did a decent job. Now, garbage, I don't care. Don't watch that stuff. Anything down here, don't watch it. It's not worth it. Um, do not recommend, you know, at all. Um, but yeah, I mean, top three anime right there. Four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Uh, yeah, top 10 anime. I would say that's probably right there. It's fair enough. All right, so yeah, that's my complete list. I might upload this on like a post or something. But yeah, if you can see right there, those are my top anime. Um, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. It's been a journey, a long time. Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all next time.